For any advanced PE class at any high school, the cornerstone of that has to be the weightlifting program. And every single weight training program has to have certain lifts that you judge, that you can get new maximum forget lifting program. You have to have at least three big lifts. Forget it. Here we go. For any high school PE department, there must be some weight training involved. Here at Whiting, we work on the PE department of any high school has to have a weight training program. Here at Whiting, we use three lifts to determine the basic strength for every single high school student that is participating. The three lifts are, first one is the bench press. The bench press works the major muscles of the upper body. The second lift is the squat, which works the front parts of the thigh as well as the hips. And then the third lift we use is called the deadlift, and deadlift works the upper back and lower back and hips. Now we're going to go to the weight room to show you how we do these lifts. Every high school PE department should offer weight training in their basic core. Here at Whiting, we offer weight training, and we use three lifts to determine how strong an athlete is starting to become. I can't help, that was stupid! Every high school PE department should offer weight training in their basic core. At Whiting, we do offer this in an advanced physical education class during the summer. In this class, we do all types of conditioning, and when we do the weight training, we include the big three, what we call the big three, as the weight training components. The first one is bench press. The bench press works the upper body. The second one is the squat. The squat is for the hips and front part of the thighs. And the third one's the deadlift, which is for the upper, lower back, and also the hips. Now we're going to go to the weight room and demonstrate these three lifts. The first lift of the big three is called the bench press. This will work the upper body. The first part of the bench press, when a student sits down, is we have to get the proper feet placement. And their feet has to be flat on the floor. Okay, Eric, put your feet flat. He also move his feet back a little bit farther back than the knees. That way it gives him a proper, stable base. As he lays down, he'll want his hand placement. The place he puts his hands at such a width that when the bar comes down, if you would take a long, straight arrow and go through his elbow, it would come out right around his middle finger. As you can see, Eric has this perfect alignment. Okay? As one bench presses, when he lowers the bar, it should be lowered to just about a half inch above the nipples. And as they push up, the bar should end up slightly above the chin. As they're benching, as we can see here, the muscle groups being used are the pectoralis major, the chest muscles. We've got the deltoid being used, as well as the triceps. As you can see, this is an excellent upper body development exercise. Okay, rack away, Eric. Now, whenever we bench press, we must have a spotter. Remember, Rick? For safety reasons, obviously this weight could fall on someone's chest or face and crush it, so we have what we call a spotter. The spotter's first step is to do what we call a lift-off. So when Eric's ready, and he'll count to 3, and when it gets to 3, Greg will slightly lift off the bar so that way Eric doesn't have to pull the weight on him. It's now a spotter's job to have his hands always near the bar, anywhere from 1 inch to actually a foot, depending on how hard he's struggling. And when the lifter is done lifting, he'll grab the bar and guide it back into the rack. This is the bench press. This is called a squat rack. The squat rack, this is what's called a squat rack. In this apparatus is where we do our squats. We like to do our squats here because we have safety pins. As you can see, they go in and out at different levels depending on the height of the lifter. This protects the lifter in case he loses his balance or loses the weight, and no one will get crushed that way. Another safety feature we will use when we squat is actually on our lifters, and we call that a weightlifting belt. And as you can see by the thickness, it protects our lower back area. As Eric starts to squat here, we'll look at the proper placement of the bar on his back. The proper placement of the bar on the back is not too high because it will hurt your vertebrae, but rather lower at the base of your trapezius. The second point that we have to make on this is the placement of the feet during the lift. The toes should be slightly out, almost at 45-degree angles, and the heels in. This will open up our hips so we can use our hips and outer thighs for this lift. As he starts to lift, it's very important that we keep our chin up, not just our eyes, but our chin, because it aligns the bar correctly, and also go to a depth where we're using our hips. That depth is right at parallel, which is 90 degrees of the knee. If he's doing this exercise properly, the bar will line up directly with his ankle. And if you come over here, you can see as the bar goes up and down with his ankle, it says it's aligned directly, which means he's squatting correctly. When a person squats, they should use a spotter. The spotter will stand directly behind the lifter and always be ready to help. When he helps, he will not just grab the lifter, but rather he will take his hands, place them on each side of the rib cage, and when the lifter gets in trouble, we'll just press in, and this will help pop the lifter off. If an extremely hard, heavy lift is being done, we'll use two spotters, one on each side. After the lifter is completed, it's very important that the spotter help guide the bar back into the rack so the lifter doesn't drop. After a lifter is completed, it's also important that the spotter stay close, place a hand on his back so if he faints or loses his balance because he worked extremely hard, he doesn't fall and hurt himself. This is how we do the squat. The third lift of the big three is called the deadlift. This is a very gutsy exercise because it's very hard. Heavy weights can be used in this exercise. What we have to do in this exercise, the first point, is we must get our shins, or our feet, close to the bar. The closer that we can comfortably get our shins close to the bar, the better off we are. The second thing is the placement of the hands. We will use a reverse grip, which means one palm is up, one palm is down. Usually, if a person's right-handed, we have them keep an open palm with the right hand. The next step is they'll rock back and down. And when you rock back and down, you can see the chin's up. This causes their shoulders to be back and a flat back. We want this bar moving straight up. As we're moving straight up, keep on doing repetitions. The legs should not straighten out until the bar reaches about mid-thigh. As you can see, Greg's doing this very well. Every time the chin stays up, the back is flat, and as you can see, the upper body, lower back, is all being used in this exercise. A lot of weight can be used, but we must make sure we wear a belt because the abdominal wall can hurt during this. That is deadlift. Also use a spotter on the deadlift. It's the spotter's responsibility to place his hand on the upper chest and a hand on the lower back and help guide the lifter. So the spotter can feel if the lifter is straining too much, and if he is, he'll let go, which will cause the lifter to drop the weight. When he drops the weight, it's very important our spotter moves his foot so it doesn't get smashed. But this way guarantees us that our lifter is not using so much weight to hurt themselves. Just completed demonstrating the three big lifts, which are bench press, squat, and deadlift. You now know the proper technique and how to use these lifts in the weight room. And we expect you, as you're lifting, to use all these safety techniques and the techniques we showed you in the demonstration. Thank you.